Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is another episode of How to App on iOS. And today we're going to be looking at some Midi instruments in Cubasis 3. Oh yeah. Okay, here we are. So it's a Wednesday here in Australia, Tuesday for the rest of you in the past. And once again, we're back here with Cubasis 3. So we are going to be looking at another episode tomorrow of Cubasis 3. And then next week, we're going to be making a song in Cubasis 3. That's going to be good, fun. So let's say hello to folks in the chat. Healing Heart, how are you today? Good to see you. Langston Reese, Scott, Tom, Rochelle. Nice to see you folks. Cody, Bradley, Russ, how are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Let's jump straight into things today because I'm trying to keep these things more on time, I say. So let's have a look on appslice.com, .co, sorry. There's a whole bunch of 4 Pockets apps that are on sale. So what are we? We've got Chameleon down a couple of dollars, Atomizer down $1, Stereographic EQ, and Analyzer and Tuner, so they're both down $1 too. There's Tape, which is for cassette tape, to create a cassette kind of tape sound, down $1 as well. And as I said yesterday, Cubasis 3 and 2 are cheaper until September 14, I do believe, is the date that they will rise again. And if you caught yesterday's show, you can download right now for free Cubasis LE3 and have a play around with Cubasis yourself. So what are we going to do today? We are going to jump into Cubasis straight away, and we are going to play around with some MIDI sounds, and then we're going to import a MIDI track, a MIDI file, and show you what that is like compared to GarageBand, because I know a lot of people who frequent this show use GarageBand, and when you import MIDI files of covers of songs or things like that, not all the time do the parts match up with the parts that were written in that said MIDI file. So let's jump straight in and have a look at Cubasis today. So this is the screen you will get when you've got a blank project, and I have a blank project. Let's have a look. Well, I have nothing set up now, so let's create a brand new project. Let's do that right now. So I'm going to click New Project, which is right down the bottom here, in case you missed that. And we're going to call this How to App. I need to click in the box, don't I? How to App MIDI Test. And hit OK. And here is our new track. So our new project waiting to go. And of course we need to add a MIDI track first to start playing with the MIDI sounds. And you can find all your tracks over here. So here's your delete to remove a track, to add a track, and to duplicate a track. Nice and simple. So I'm going to add a track, and you're given these 3 options. An audio file to record into if you're playing guitar or vocals or anything like that, or any physical instrument. Then you've got a MIDI track next to it and a group track. And we touched on group tracks yesterday. You would select the group track if you had say a drum kit, all different parts, and then you would choose this group track and it would group all those drum parts together. So we're going to choose a MIDI track, and there's our MIDI track. Now what I'm going to do here, what's really cool about Cubasis 2 is you can get rid of screens. You can remove the clutter. So as you can see here, we have this little section down here, which is our media section, which is accessed up the top here. But I can get rid of it quite easily just by clicking the X here, and that's gone. Now that gives me a full screen to look at. So what I'm going to do now is, next to that media folder up there in the top left hand corner is your keys button, and you can bring this up at any time, and there is your piano. pretty cool. And you can, with the keyboard, you can change the size of the keys. So you'll see along the top here, you've got this little selection here. So I can move down the keyboard or down the keyboard and up the keyboard just by scrolling that across. But I can also make this larger by pinching. I'm sure that's how you do it. I haven't done this for a while. I can't remember how to do it. I love that. I should have practiced before I went on today, but I woke up very late. So let's just move it around. So there's our keyboard there. Now at any time you can, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so there's our keyboard. What we're going to do today is go through just the sounds that are built in, because we don't want to overload the sensors today. So I'm going to hit. Where do we do that? Good question. That's where we do it. So I can close that now. Now you'll see up here there's this little piano thing next to the track. So that's what's telling me on the track what instrument I'm using. So if I click on that, that brings up this little section here, giving me more information about the actual instrument I have selected. Now, if I hit the keys, this adds the keys to this actual instrument. And as you can see here, it tells me here with the piano, the attack, the polyphony of the piano. Okay, so it also tells me the range down the bottom. And you've got a whole lot of options with each instrument that you choose, which is very cool. So we just have an acoustic piano. Now up at the top here, you can scroll left to right just by clicking the arrows. Nice and easy to go through your pianos. But I do recall if I click that, there you go, see the little list button there, it gives me a list down the side. So there's always, what's good about this, there's always heaps of little options to open up and see more things, which is cool, instead of this graphical interface. So we've got a bright piano here. What's the difference? Let's hear. Not much. We've got a closed lid piano. You can definitely hear the difference there. Good. So as you can see already, there's a whole bunch of grand pianos. More muffled. You've got a live grand for a much brighter piano sound. Let's move these up a bit. God, I hate playing on the screen when I've got a microphone shoved in my face. So piano pickup, there's a honky tonk. You've got an E grand. As we scroll through, so there's two more pianos here. And now we move into keyboards. So now, as you can see too, while I'm scrolling down, see here, I'm scrolling through these. Notice down here, you have all these selections of little icons of instruments as well. So when I move down to this classic E piano here, bang, it changes to keys. And organs, synth, guitar, bass. So it moves down the list. So there's a whole heap of stuff here. So in your keys, what do we start with? We've got an electric piano. Let's just got a clav. And remember, you can change the attack and everything of these. So you've got all of that to play with as well. Funky clavs, stereo clavs, a harpsichord. You can also play, remember I showed you this yesterday, you have a little button down here which you can flick between pads and keys. So you've got chords there as well that you can play for each of these instruments. Whole bunch of stuff there with the keys. Then we move into tape clarinets. So these aren't even like actual woodwind instruments here, so that's pretty cool as well. And we've got an accordion. And that's not a bad sounding accordion really, is it? I've heard worse. I've heard worse accordions for something that's like tied up with a DAW software. So yes, indeed. And a lot of comments today. I'm finding it even hard to keep up here. Tom Rochelle says the Cubasis actually comes with a pretty decent selection of virtual instruments, not like GarageBand, but nothing to sneeze at, and that is very, very, very true. We've got a tango accordion. Fairly decent, can't complain. So we've got some organs here. Definitely something that is missing from a GarageBand, I think, is some really cool... Yeah! Some really cool organs like that. A church organ. Lovely. A gospel organ. Oh, can you hear Jesus is in the house? With jazzy organs. What else? Oh, there's a dirty rock organ. Tell you what, playing I'll let you know this, playing a touchscreen instrument using the Apple Magic Keyboard isn't fun. So it's awesome for so many other things, but not for actually playing music. So then we have heaps of synth sounds. Do we have a lot of synth sounds? Let's have a look. So there seems to be a fair few, nowhere near as much as GarageBand, obviously. But the best bit is about that, there are so many amazing synth AUV3 plugins that's not really a deal breaker in my opinion. Got a frozen pad here. So let's skip through these. Let's get to the one that's always telling. It's always my favorite part of looking at MIDI instruments. The guitars. Because we all know they're going to suck. Like, it just is what it is. And it's not a slight on anybody. It's just really hard to get guitars that sound good. Yeah, that don't sound like a clean electric guitar. Sorry. Let's see the distorted guitar. Nah. Really? Even the nylon's probably got the closest chance of sounding any somewhat near a guitar. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, nothing ever sounds like a guitar. We'll have a listen to some banjo. I don't know. You make up your mind. Ukulele. So the koto. Yeah, not bad. Let's have a listen to some bass stuff here. Because, you know, you can normally get some fairly okay bass. So we've got a double bass. Let's bring it down a bit. Yeah. That's pretty decent, you know? Fairly decent. I'm digging that stuff. You can always get a fairly good upright bass. So we got a finger bass, basic stuff, some picking bass. Let's see what the slap is. Yep, I'm digging that. So there's a fairly good selection. We've got a fretless here as well. Another slap bass. There's a couple of slap basses. And a picked bass. That's a pretty good selection of bass stuff there. I'm digging that. And the strings are normally pretty good stuff with your strings. And it doesn't disappoint. So this is a studio strings. I'm gathering it's a selection of strings. Got another string selection here. Strings are always cool. Soft strings. Can't really complain about that. We've got some tremolos. It's rare that you get a tremolo bass, tremolo strings included for free with the DAW like that. You know, that's something normally you'd have to get with iSymphonic. The tremolos on the iSymphonic are absolutely sick. So what's the violin sound like? Is that a good test? Pretty good. Viola sounds the same. Cello's always a tough one. They sound the same to me. We got a contrabass. So we got some harps. We got orchestral hits. Oh, we need to go higher for this, don't we? That sound's never going to be wrong, is it? Because they just use the same one on every goddamn MIDI thing. So now we're moving into some brass. And that's a fairly decent brass section. It's not sensational. It's not like, you know, a symphonic or anything like that. French horns. Trombone. What else we got? I want to go down to a pan flute. Hey, that's pretty cool. Could whack out some Enya. No, that won't be happening. All right, so let's go through a couple of the saxophones. It looks like there's only two, I think, three saxophones. Sax is a pretty hard thing to pull off. Yeah, I can hear where they're going. Yeah, nah. Yeah. Yeah. Harmonic is always going to sound horrible. So we've got some choirs. Some choirs, so there's a couple of choirs. These, you know, are normally not too bad. It's pretty fat. It's pretty fat and all that, yeah? Yeah, digging that. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm going to jump straight over to the drums now. So, you look what happens when you click over to the drums. It automatically changes you over to the pads. That's pretty cool. I don't know where everything is. So, we got kick. Cool. Let me flip my screen up a bit on my keyboard. Cool. So that's an AM rock kit, and the drum kits are pretty damn good on here, I have to admit. We've got a pop kit. Yeah, we've got a pop kit too. What else we got? Vintage. Where's my ride? So we're going to the vintage kit here. So there's a whole bunch of kits. House, yeah. Hip hop kit. Sweet. Lots of kits. Studio kits. Where's my snare? We got jazz kit, so your pretty standard stuff there. And more cowbell always. More and more and more till there's no more left. So we've got an R&B kit. Sweet. So there are some other percussion stuff here. So it looks like we've got a world kit kind of thing. So I've been listening to too much Mike Patton lately. And we've got a lovely timpani here. A metallic kit. So what else? Last thing we'll go through. So we've got a vibraphone, some glockenspiel stuff, tubular bells, and everybody's favorite. So that is a pretty big list of stuff. So there you go. That's a nice big list of stuff that is built in as soon as you download this app. I'm digging it. Pretty damn cool. Plus over here too, just remember, you have wheels you can add into your virtual keyboard as well. So those are sitting there and can just slot away at any time. Everything's nice and easy to disappear. And you can just get rid of it all very simply. Just keep your keys, bring up your list down here. So it's really lovely how you can build up a very modular look. So as you can see, I've still got access to everything down here on the side, and I can still see my track up here for recording. So that is all of the instruments that you get built in. What we're going to do now before I go is uncheck that. We're going to bring in a MIDI file. So as you'll know, when you import stuff from GarageBand, when you import MIDI files into GarageBand, a lot of the time the actual MIDIs don't match up. It can be a bit of a shit show. So you may just say import some cover version, karaoke version of a song, and the trumpet may go to like a harmonica. For some reason the instruments don't match up. GarageBand has trouble matching the instruments to MIDI files. So here's what to do. And I do this for Cubasis, and I do it also using the app Music Studio, which I still use. It's a pretty old app, but I love it as well because it's great for MIDI files. So you would open up, and I'm going to go into my MIDI folder. So this is the media palette we've got open now. And you can see I'm in this project that I've created today. I'm going to pop over here to the MIDI section, and I've already added in the MIDI files this MIDI track, which I'm just going to grab and drag in. And there you go. It has added all of these MIDIs, and it has automatically chosen the tracks to go with it. So we've got a timpani, we've got strings, we've got an orchestra, we've got an acoustic guitar, there's a clean guitar in there, there's upright bass, fretless bass, acoustic guitar. So I tried to pick something with a variety of stuff in there. But what you can do once you open up this file, then what you would do is, I'll make sure I'm doing the right thing here. So go to Mixdown, create a Mixdown. Okay, let's close this out. So as you can see here, I've clicked on Mixdown with my MIDI folder open, and click Create Mixdown, and it gives you these options. And this is pretty cool, huh? You've got the option to save as a WAV file, a FLAC file. I mean, how many DAWs give you an option to save as a FLAC file? That's the schniz right there. You can save as an M4A, or you can save as a MIDI file. Hello, Pete. Welcome to the chat. So this is what I suggest you do. If you're like scouring the internet for karaoke versions of MIDI songs or anything like that, open it up in Cubasis and then save it as a MIDI. And then if you want to open it up in GarageBand, you will notice that because you've opened it up in another DAW that has been able to match the instruments much better to what the original MIDI file was created to be matched with, then when you open up the resaved version of this into GarageBand, the instruments should match up a lot better than before. Not always, because we don't live in a perfect world, but a lot better in most cases. And let's just be safe and say about 87.777 recurring of cases, you'll get a better import of a MIDI file into GarageBand from my experience. So to wrap things up today, I'm going to do something absolutely stupid just to waste not to waste your time, because I need my coffee and I need to go for my walk. So I'm going to play you this MIDI file. You're going to find out it's still not the best. It's a MIDI file. You can't really expect the best from a MIDI file. So let's play this, and I don't know, I might have a sing along to it if I can remember how this goes. So this is I tried to pick a MIDI file that had a lot of different instruments in it and wasn't your typical rock song or anything like that. So see if you know what this song is. It's probably going to be horrible. Wow, what was that? Whatever happened to Fay Ray? That delicate satin draped frame as it clung to her thigh. How I started to cry, 'cause I wanted to be dressed just the same. Give yourself over to absolute pleasure. Swim the warm waters of sins of the flesh. Erotic nightmares beyond any measure, and sensual daydreams to treasure forever. Can't you just see it? Whoa, don't dream it, be it, don't dream it, Don't dream it. Be here. Don't dream
it. We've got to be strong and try to carry on. For if we don't, our minds may well slip, and our lives will forever be.
Oh, don't dream it. Please, baby.
They will be forever. Living for
it's beyond me. Help me, mommy.
Yes, Lily, Cece.
There you go. So yeah, it was from the Rocky Horror Show, but that's why I chose it, because it has all of these sick parts in it. And, you know, look, it wasn't perfect. So let's do this now. Just to wrap up, we shall grab... That was hard to sing first thing in the morning. So thank you for indulging my stupidity. Let's now go to where we were. So this track here, we want to create a mix down. We want to create a MIDI and start the mix down. So that MIDI has been mixed down. There it is there. Now we should be able to... how do we get to this stuff? I think we can... Can we move it? Or maybe we open it. Let's see. I think we can we get to it in the Files app? Let's see if we can do that. Is that where it saves? So on my iPad, Cubasis 3... mix down, there it is. So there's the MIDI file. So we want to actually now open GarageBand. Let's see what GarageBand has done with it, because I should have actually opened it the first time before I actually played around with it. And where are we? iCloud Drive. So we want to create a new track, and we just want to go to a vocal, please, vocal. Fun, clean. So let's import this MIDI track and see what GarageBand has done with it. Well, of course I want to turn on monitoring. Why wouldn't I? Okay. So we want to browse, and we're looking for... where are we? iCloud on my iPad. Cubasis, mix down, there it is, MIDI test. That's it. How to app, and let's drag it in. All right, this is always scary, opening up a MIDI file in GarageBand. Wow. Okay. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So it sounds even better. So what you'll see here I'm doing is I've opened up automation, and I'm turning off all of the automation, because a lot of MIDI files have automation in them. And what GarageBand does is that it turns on the automation to full. So you've got to do that with each MIDI file. Hey, this is pretty good. Give yourself over to absolute pleasure. Swim the warm waters of sins of the flesh. Erotic nightmares beyond any measure. Sounds great. Listen to that guitar. Sounds wicked. But here's the thing, and I'm not going to do it because we've run out of time, but I'll bet if I had to just open that MIDI file without opening it in something else before, some of those instruments would have been misaligned. There would have been some issues there because it just happens a lot. And if you have open MIDI files in GarageBand, you can testify with me because it is true. It's something we've had to learn to live with as GarageBand users. So we have gone through MIDI for the day on Cubasis. And thank you, Pete, for saying that for me and the thumbs up and all that jazz. So there it is there. Like, share, comment, thumbs up, all that stuff. And what we'll be looking at tomorrow is we'll be diving into some of the inter-app audio and the AU3V plugins. So we'll be looking at those kind of things tomorrow. Then we're interviewing Jacob Hack on Friday. So that's going to be really fucking cool. I'm really excited about that. And also next week I'll be recording a song using Cubasis for my new band. I have a new band that I've been working on an album for called Manners. And so I'll be working on one of the songs from a new album, EP, whatever it is that I'm trying to create in Cubasis. And it's kind of a dirgy, Caius kind of tuned down metal kind of thing. So, and the difference is instead of vocals, I'm singing over the top in an old lady voice. Because the band's called Manners, and it's all about manners. But yeah, so thank you for joining me today and doing all the beers and hanging out, folks. And if you're on the replay, leave a comment down in the chat if there's anything you want me to answer or suggestions or anything like that. And I'm now going to go for my walk, have my coffee, and enjoy the rest of the day coming up. I hope you all have a wonderful day ahead. I hope you're kind to somebody, and I hope somebody is kind to you also. And keep creating, folks. Stay happy, stay rocking, and stay motivated. And stay locked into this channel. And I will see you tomorrow. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye.